I know how this sounds, but I think I've been cursed by something I found behind my school. No, I'm not joking. I'm not trying to scare you for fun or make up some creepy Reddit story. I don't even expect you to believe me, honestly. I'd prefer if you didn't. If you chalk this up to a nightmare or a lie, maybe it'll stay away from you. But me, I'm not so lucky it's 2:11 a.m. I'm sitting in my closet with the door cracked just enough to see the hallway. The lights in my room keep flickering, and someone keeps walking back and forth just outside the door. Heavy steps, slow, deliberate, like it's waiting for me to come out. I can't call the police. I already did. Twice. Both times. They found nothing. No signs of break-in. No footprints in the dirt just below my window. Just me. Alone. Graving, probably. But I swear to God, I'm not imagining this. If you're watching this, or reading this, or hearing this somehow, and I don't make it to the morning, I need you to understand what really happened, what I found, what followed me home. It started a week ago, in the middle of what was supposed to be the most boring detention ever. I was stacking chairs in the back of the science building when I noticed a path in the woods behind the school, one I'd never seen before, and I swear I've been near that spot hundreds of times. There was something off about it, too symmetrical, kick too clean, as if it had been cleared recently, though no one at school ever mentioned it. Curiosity does that, doesn't it? It tugs on you. Care makes rational thoughts seem annoying. So I went down that path, and I found a graveyard. A hidden, rotting, impossible graveyard behind a public school. Maybe 15, 20 headstones, all mismatched, all wrong. I should have walked away. I should have left it alone. Instead, I stepped closer and touched something I never should have. Now, something's touched me back, and it won't let go. Ever lived in a town so boring that even the birds seem tired? Yeah, that's where I live. I won't name it, not because I'm worried someone will find me, but because it's so unremarkable. It might as well be called USA. Population, too many nosy neighbors and not enough working. Why fine, I'm a junior at Eastridge High, home of the least intimidating mascot ever. The Fighting Toads. No, seriously, we're green and angry and ... perpetually ignored by every other school in the county. Most days, my life was autopilot. Wake up, pretend to brush my teeth, choke down burnt toast, ride my bike to school, and spend 6 hours counting the ceiling tiles in classrooms far too cold in the morning and way too hot by 7th period. My friends, if you can call 3 weirdos a group, were just as unremarkable. Pete was basically raised on YouTube conspiracy videos and thought lizard people ran the school board. Abby had a moral vendetta against vending machines, and I was just there, trying to have the lowest possible profile while still sneakily hacking the projector in history class so it looped cat videos instead of colonial maps. Teachers. You'd think they all came from the same sleepy factory. Mr. Harper, the philosophy teacher, talked like he was narrating a documentary about concrete. Ms. Bell, our PE teacher, once broke a clipboard over her knee because someone wore Crocs to gym. Honestly, the most interesting part of school was the rumors about what was behind the fence out back. Behind the west end of the science building, where the concrete gives way to overgrown grass and a rusted chain link fence, there's a patch of woods. Not big enough to be a forest, not small enough to be landscaping. It's just sort of asterisk there, asterisk untouched, but for years. Students have whispered about it. Some called it the teacher garden, joking that it was where bad teachers were buried. Others claimed there was an old junkyard back there, or a clearing used for satanic rituals during the 80s. No one ever proved anything, and no one really tried. At most, People would dare each other to touch the fence or throw rocks over it, taught me. Gay. I shrugged it off. There were weirder things to worry about, like geometry pop quizzes, or the fact that our cafeteria once served something called beef loaf that smelled like a tire fire. So life went on. Classes droned. Friends griped. We laughed. We groaned. We made dumb plans for the summer that would probably never happen. Pete once tried to convince us to sneak into the woods and live stream it. Imagine the views, he said. Ghosts, blood, cults, cryptid sightings. We could be famous. I blew him off then. I always did. We all knew it was just small-town boredom talking, because nothing exciting ever happens here. Nothing real asterisk, anyway. But that changed the day I got detention for telling off Mr. Harper after he compared Descartes to a Fortnite skin. I was sent to stack chairs in the back of the school, right near that fence. Funny how the universe sets things up, isn't it? It was just a glance at first, something beyond the fence. A weird angle between the trees that didn't look quite right. A shimmer, like heat waves. Even though it was freezing cold and overcast that day, I remember squinting, stepping closer. The world around me silent in that weird way it gets right before a really bad storm. Looking back, I think it was waiting for someone like me, not brave, not reckless, not just bored enough to say, screw it, let's see what's back there, And that's exactly what I did. I didn't know then how much that decision would cost. Me, detention was supposed to be mind-numbing but safe. Stack the chairs. Sweep the floor. Don't touch anything valuable. That Friday, I got assigned to the South Wing, right behind the science building, which smelled like wet frogs and burnt plastic. Cinematic, probably left over from some failed chemistry experiment. There was this small maintenance shed no one used anymore. The paint was peeling like sunburned skin, and the windows were stained with decades of grime. It sat crooked, like it knew it had been forgotten. The fence next to it had a hole, just wide enough for someone skinny-ish and determined to squeeze through. I don't know why I noticed it then. Maybe I'd walked past it 1,000 times without seeing it. Maybe it wasn't there before. But that day, something about it felt. Open. I glanced at the office window. Mr. Harper, my jailer for the afternoon, was too busy sipping diet soda and watching a podcast video with his feet on the desk. So, I did what every horror protagonist promises not to do. I climbed through the hole in the fence. The air was different on the other side. Damp, heavier, like it hadn't been breathed in a long time. The ground was soft, overgrown with ivy and twisted roots. There was a narrow trail that snaked between the trees, not man-made, but something. Worn, like it had been walked by the same feet too many times. I crept forward, ignoring the uneasy beat of my pulse. The sounds of school faded behind me. No cars, no bells, no muffled echo of hallway chaos. Just wind through the dead branches and the occasional creak of something shifting under my feet. Then, I saw them dot gravestones, not in rows. Not organized, just scattered, crooked, cracked. Some sunk halfway into the ground. They weren't the fancy kind with names or dates either. Most were just stone slabs, blank and smooth, sore or carved with shallow scratches I couldn't read. One of them had new dirt, a fresh mound, still loose, like it had been dug and refilled in the last few days. That's when my breath caught. Because this place shouldn't exist. A graveyard behind a school. Who buries people less than a football field away from a cafeteria? Kai stood in the middle of it, staring, too stunned to be scared yet. My curiosity overrode reason, as usual. That's when I saw it, half buried near one of the stones. A small object, poking out of the dirt. A locket, or something like it, rusted, oval, sealed shut. It had a weird weight when I picked it up, heavier than it should have been. The metal was ice cold, even though the sun had started to break through the branches above. I don't know why I didn't put it back. I should have, Buta. But I just slipped it into my hoodie pocket without thinking, like it owed me something for finding it. And the dumbest thing I could have done. I took something from it. The exact second I turned around to head back, the air changed again. It thickened, like a storm had swallowed the clearing. Shadows made no sense. Tree limbs twisted unnaturally, pointing inward. And I'm not kidding. I heard breathing that didn't come from me. I didn't wait long. I ran. Branches clawed my hoodie. Roots tried to catch my shoes. And the quiet wrongness behind me. Asterisk followed dot asterisk when I stumbled back through the fence. Scraped and gasping, the school grounds looked too bright, too saturated, like overexposed film. The contrast between what I had just seen and what was familiar knocked the breath out of me more than the run did. Mr. Harper didn't look up as I walked back in, covered in dirt and bleeding from a gash on my leg. "You done playing Explorer, Indiana?" he muttered without turning around. I muttered something back and grabbed a mop to buy time. I spent the rest of detention silently holding that locket in my pocket, pressing my thumb into the grooves like it was a trigger. By that point, I already knew I'd screwed up. I just didn't know how badly. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I felt guilty. I wish it had been that simple, but because my room didn't feel like my room anymore. The air was wrong, black, like it had been borrowed by someone else and returned without telling me. The silence wasn't comfortable. It felt staged, like all the usual nighttime sounds. The hum of my cracked desk fan, the distant barking of the neighbor's dog, the occasional groan of pipes in the wall had been paused, sits held in suspense. I kept flipping in bed, eyes darting between the glowy. Then again, 12 a.m. Then again, still 12 a.m. And then 11:59 p.m. I blinked. The clock reversed itself. I sat up, rubbing my eyes like a cartoon character. But when I looked again, it read 12:01 a.m. I know how that sounds. Electronic hiccup, power surge. Maybe my brain lagging out from exhaustion. That's what I told myself, too. At first, it wasn't until the floorboards outside my room creaked that I really started to panic. You know that sound, a load of a human foot over tired wood. Not random settling, not expansion or wind, but deliberate movement. One step, then two, then one more. Right outside my door, I held my breath and listened, thinking maybe my dad was up late or my sister was sleepwalking. But we don't live in a two-story house. My room is at the edge of the first floor, and there's nothing beyond my door except the hallway and the wall of family photos. I waited years in that silence, heart racing, muscles locked, eyes fixed on my bedroom door in the dark. Just as I started to convince myself I'd imagined it, I saw it. A figure not in the room, not exactly, but outside the window. Standing just beyond the soft glow of my desk lamp. It was tall, still, like oak tree still. No details, just a shape carved out of the night, framed perfectly in the window like it had posed for me. I didn't scream. I didn't move. I just blinked, and it was gone, no footsteps retreating. No breath in the silence, nothing. I must have fallen asleep somewhere between hyperventilation and denial. Because the next thing I remember is waking up to my alarm buzzing at 6:30 a.m. I sat up, foggy goosebumps still ghosting down my arms, and when I swung my feet over the bed, sir, something crunched. I looked down my sneakers. The ones I'd left by the closet door the night before were covered in dirt. Caked in fresh wet dirt, with pine needles and tiny roots twisted in the laces, seas like they'd been worn through a forest. But I hadn't left the house. Not at all. Not since I got home from school, care. And definitely not between the time I saw the thing outside my window. Can't now. I stared at them for a long time, thinking maybe I'd sleepwalked. Maybe I was coming down with something and dreamt all of it, which would have been great. But deep down, I knew better. Yeah, I read creepypastas too. I know how this starts. Dirt in shoes, flickering clocks, figures in windows. It always starts small, something easy to explain away, easy to pretend you're imagining. But I wasn't imagining this. There was something wrong with what I brought back. I just didn't know it yet. Things got worse after that. Not in a dramatic, movie-style haunting way. No spinning heads or blood-gushing faucets. Just enough to make me question what reality even was. The kind of unsettling that worms under your skin and settles there, like it's building a home out of your nerves. At school, the lights started flickering when I walked into rooms. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Bad wiring. Our school was half a step above condemned, anyway, but it stopped being funny when it happened every time I entered the library. Here, or the boys' bathroom by the gym, Mr. Harper's classroom. Until he finally looked up from his desk, narrowed his eyes, and muttered asterisk again, asterisk like it wasn't the first time. My phone was next. Kai took a selfie during lunch, just being stupid. Bored when I checked the image later. There was something behind me. Not a person, exactly. More like a shadow that asterisk shouldn't asterisk have been there. It was standing too close to fit the angle. My back was to a wall. The weird part. There were limbs, too many of them. I showed Pete and Abby. Pete laughed at first, made some crack about AR filters and deepfake ghosts, but Abby didn't say anything. She just stared at the screen like she could actually recognize something in it. Then she handed my phone back and said, asterisk, delete it. Asterisk, I didn't. I tried. I swear I did, seat. But every time I hit delete, the photo froze for a second and then asterisk restored. Asterisk, I've deleted 100 photos in my life. That one wouldn't go. That night, the tapping started. Subtle, rhythmic tapping on my window. Even on nights it rained. I live 5 feet off the ground. No tree branches nearby. And when I gathered the courage to peek through the blinds, expecting maybe a bird or wind playing tricks, there'd be asterisk, asterisk, nothing, asterisk, asterisk, worse than nothing. The reflection in the glass almost never matched what was behind me. One night, I looked through it and saw myself standing still in the hallway behind me. Not moving, just watching me look out the window. Sleep became war. I started waking up, paralyzed, stuck, eyes wide open, limbs stone. The room would be freezing, like the heat had been sucked out of the air and into something. Asterisk watching me. Asterisk always at exactly 3:13 a.m. Always with the same whisper. Asterisk, you kept it. Asterisk by the 4th night. Even my dog refused to enter my room. Sit at the threshold and whimper. Ears back. Eyes locked on something invisible above my bed. I thought I was losing it. Until Abby proved I wasn't. We were walking to class when she stopped mid-step and pulled me aside, whispering, asterisk, do you feel that? Asterisk, feel what? But then I did the unnatural chill. even under the afternoon sun. A static pressure, like the air just before a scream. I tried to play dumb, but something in her face stopped me. Car. The color had drained out of her completely. I saw it, she whispered. In the hallway mirror near homeroom. It was behind you, clear as day. And it wasn't. It wasn't human. Asterisk, I didn't ask for details. I didn't want them. Later that week, Pete cornered me in the cafeteria. His voice pitched too high to stay casual. Dude, honest question. Did you mess with something back there behind the science building? I didn't answer. He leaned in, his grin forced, almost shaking. Because ever since you went into those woods, I've been waking up outside. That shattered something in me. He wasn't joking. His eyes were sunken, ringed with exhaustion. And Abby, she barely spoke to me unless we were alone. Whatever I woke up, I wasn't the only one it touched. It wasn't a coincidence. Not anymore. Words started going around about the kid who glitched the hallway lights, like I was some kind of walking M-field. I overheard one of the younger teachers mention a story to another. Something about a student vanishing back in '97 behind the same old fence. When I tried to ask them directly, they stiffened and changed the subject. Kwan said, "That place has a memory better left untouched." Better left untouched. Like it was a thing. K** place, asterisk with rules. Rumors had always swirled about that corner of the school, the woods that never grew or died. The stones that appeared after a storm and disappeared again by midweek. A friend of a friend once told a ghost story about a graveyard no one built, but everyone forgot. I used to laugh though now. Ty, I think I found it worse. I think I invited it home. I didn't plan on talking to anyone about it. Not seriously, I mean. What was I going to say? So I think I stole a cursed object from a secret graveyard, and now my hallucinations are becoming a group project. Yeah, didn't exactly scream credibility, but something about the way the teachers kept dodging my questions, flickers of recognition in their eyes. The half-second too long before they said I don't know anything about that ate at me. Eventually, I found someone who didn't dodge. Well, say didn't exactly answer either, but that's beside the point. It was Mr. Dinley, the night custodian. Most students didn't even know he existed. Here was like a hallway Mithelways, around after dark, mop in hand, faced like an old photograph, crinkled from age, yellowed from time, half-faded from being forgotten. I caught him one evening after practice got cancelled. The halls were quiet, and I heard his mop dragging across the linoleum like a warning bell. "Hey," I said, half joking, "quick question. Is there a graveyard behind the school?" He didn't look up, just said, "Not anymore." I felt my chest tighten, but there was, "No one's supposed to know about that," he muttered. Tick. The mop paused. They built over it. School didn't tell parents back then, just covered it with concrete and called it progress. "What was it?" I asked. Stepping closer, he looked at me for the first time, cares. Eyes were dead glass, scared, but not surprised. "Burial ground," he whispered. "Unofficial. People who didn't have names. Workers. Or orphans. Or worse." "Worse how?" He leaned on his mop. Exhaled through his nose like the words were heavier than they should have been. They weren't just buried. They were bound, marked with symbols. Old ones. Before the town was the town. Before the church burned. That part sent a chill through me. I think I disturbed them, I said quietly. He didn't blink. Just nodded. Slow. "If you took anything, it ain't yours now." "But you. Belong to them. I swallowed hard. "How do I fix it?" Mr. Dinley licked his lips. Can't fix it. Only finish it. What does that mean? They follow the curious. He said, like quoting scripture. They test your fear, see how long you'll hold up. If you keep stirring the dirt, you'll make it worse. He turned to leave, slowly pushing the mop bucket down the hall. I'm not the first, am I? I called after him, silence. Then, just before he rounded the corner, I heard it. A dry, broken voice muttering asterisk, not the first student. Asterisk that stuck with me, still does. And if you've made it this far and you think this sounds like nonsense, I don't blame you. Sigh. I probably would have too, but if anyone else has ever seen this place, those crooked gravestones, the locket, that asterisk fresh mound of earth, asterisk comment something, anything, even a single word, just so I know I'm not the only one trying to survive whatever this is. Because I think there's a rule to this. And I think I already broke it after Mr. Dinley's warning. I knew I couldn't keep pretending this was some weird dream or sleep-deprived hallucination. Whatever had latched onto MIT was real. And getting bolder, so I did the thing desperate people do. I started digging. Dotaby was the only one still willing to talk to me. Pete had stopped showing up to school altogether. And when I texted him, all I got back was, "Don't bring it here." That was it, nothing else. Abby met me in the library after hours. She didn't believe all of it, not entirely, but she believed enough to help. We split off, flipping through dusty records in the school archives no one had touched in decades. Pages crumbled, ink bled. Half the records looked like they'd been removed or blacked out. Then Abby found it. A folded note tucked between two outdated fire code manuals, paper yellowed with age, written in faint pencil. No name, just "The soil remembers." Marked by the taken, "Their ground is not ours." Underneath it was a crudely drawn symbol, almost like a knot of limbs twisted into a circle. We searched the entire internet for it. Nothing. I called the priest next. Actually drove to the church on the opposite side of town. He barely let me finish my story before shaking his head. "If this is a prank," he said, "it's in very poor taste." I showed him the locket. His face darkened. He reached under the table and pulled out a small crucifix, fingers trembling. Then he told me to leave no blessing, no oil, no prayer, just go now. I went to a psychic too. A local medium named Clara who ran a shop that sold overpriced sage and dream. She seemed skeptical at first, right until she placed her hand over the locket. She went eyes locked forward like she'd been unplugged from reality. Then whispered, "This doesn't belong in your world." I reached out, but she slapped my hand away and screamed, "Out!" When I came back the next day to beg her help again, the store was empty. Windows covered in black trash bags, doors sealed with a for-rent sign duct-taped crooked. She was just gone. That's when I realized something awful. We weren't supposed to ever find that place. Thus, not the graveyard, not the trail, not the path through the trees that only seems to exist when you're dumb enough to follow it. And now it wants something back. That night, the locket went from cold to scalding. I threw it across the room, and when it landed, the lights in my house exploded. Not fizzled, blew out. Glass rained down. My phone lit up for a second. One notification. Buried. Not forgotten. Whatever this is, Queet tried to fix it. And we made it worse by the end of the second week. I'd stopped pretending to sleep, pretending to eat, pretending that anything about my life made sense anymore. People at school barely looked at me. And when they did, their expressions varied somewhere between "poor kid," probably snapped, and "don't catch whatever he's got." Abby stopped responding to my texts. Kai, don't blame her. The last time we spoke, she told me she'd found dirt in her bed. Her parents thought it was some stupid prank. She didn't. She stopped coming to school after that. I was alone, and the thing, whatever it was, knew it. Nights blurred into one another. I started losing time, not just blacking out, but skipping. I'd blink, and suddenly it was an hour later. Or I'd wake up somewhere I hadn't gone to sleep, once in my backyard, barefoot, once in the school locker room, soaked in sweat, sicked with the emergency lights buzzing overhead. The worst was waking up face down on my bedroom floor, the sun rising in the window, hands raw with dirt under my fingernails. There were scratches on my closet door from the inside. I don't even remember sleeping that night. And through all of it, the locket never left me. No matter where I hid it, buried it, flushed it, torched it, I'd turn around and find it again. On my nightstand. In my backpack, Kinnett jacket I hadn't worn in months. It was clinging to me like I'd been branded. Maybe I had. Then came the moment that broke whatever shaky grip I had left on Normal. It was after school. I don't remember how I got there. I just remember standing in the woods again, staring at those same gravestones, fog rolling in as the wind moved like it was trying to push me out. Except this time, one of the grave markers had changed. The moss had been scraped away. Fresh grooves in the stone. My name, my full name, no dates. Just the name, F first. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. A wheezing, hollow kind of hysterical sound. Guess that's one way to make the honor roll, I muttered. Then I fell to my knees and threw up. It was real, all of it. Not a nightmare. Not a breakdown, not some late-blooming psychosis triggered by adolescent stress and cheap cafeteria beef loaf. This thing was writing me into its story, into its world. I wasn't just tied to it. I was becoming part of it. I think that's when I snapped, and I don't mean in a cool hero finally fights back kind of way. I mean I stood there for what felt like hours, laughing and crying and running my fingers over those stone letters like they might disappear if I blinked hard enough. They didn't. When I finally stumbled out of the woods, I pulled out my phone and opened the voice notes app. I hit record and started speaking. I told stories like this on Reddit. I said, I used to love reading the ones about haunted objects and glitchy simulation stuff, people vanishing into alternate timelines. But I never thought I'd live one. And if you're hearing this, something probably happened. Just know I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I just found a path. That's all. I just wandered off the map. The locket buzzed in my pocket as I said that. Not vibrated, buzzed, like something alive, or hungry, or both. I didn't check it. I just kept walking, hoping maybe I'd wake up, or fall into some cleaner nightmare where this thing wasn't real. Spoiler, I don't know what I expected to happen, honestly. That returning the locket would undo everything. Like pressing Ctrl+Z on a cursed Google Doc. That something would snap, and I'd wake up in my bed the next morning with no memories and only mild psychological damage. But when you're losing your grip, you cling to ideas as if they're rope in quicksand. So I made a choice. I waited until after sunset, packed a flashlight, some gloves, and a shovel I stole from my dad's shed, and walked back to Eastridge High, the birthplace of this entire mess. I didn't sneak in. I didn't care anymore. If someone caught me, I would have kissed their shoes. At least they'd be human. But no one did. The school was empty. Not eerily quiet like a horror movie, but hollow, like it had already been abandoned and just forgot to decay. The hallway lights flickered as soon as I stepped inside, sim as ever. Only this time, they didn't stop. It was like the building knew what I was there to do. And it was nervous. I made my way to the hole in the fence, back behind the old science wing. Only now the hole wasn't just a tear, it had grown. Sid. The fence was curled outward, like something had clawed its way through from the inside. The forest beyond looked sick. The trees leaned inward, skeletal. The dirt hissed under my steps like wet breath. I followed the path. I don't remember how many minutes passed before the graveyard came into view. But the second it did, my flashlight died cut out cold. It lit the edge of the clearing one more time. Then just blinked darkness. I kept walking anyway. The gravestones hadn't changed. Except one. Mine. It was deeper now. Like it had sunk closer to some finish line I'd never agreed to race. I took the locket from my pocket. For the first time, it didn't buzz or resist. It just sat there, still, as if it knew. I set it in the dirt and dug. Mud clung to my fingers like it wanted to hold on. Rocks scraped my knuckles raw. I found sharp things under the earth. Fingernail shards, splinters of bone. Things I never want to describe again. I dropped the locket in the hole and started shoveling dirt back over it. Whispering, begging, please, Kit. Please, just stop. I'm done. You can have it. You can have me. If that's the price, just stop. The wind paused, like the forest held its breath. Then I heard it, breathing behind me. Not animal, not human, something in between. I froze. Asterisk. A branch snapped. Something shifted forward. I spun around and there it was. Tall, gray, featureless, except for the hollow stretch of a mouth too wide. Yawning open in absolute silence. Arms that reached longer than they should. And something dangled from its hand. A twin to the very same locket I just buried. The ground beneath me pulsed. Stones groaned. I started to run not because I thought I could escape, but because some ancient animal instinct inside me took over and screamed move. The path was gone. Theories closed in. I tore through vines and branches, blind, bleeding, certain I was about to feel hands on my neck. Then light, one flickering, humming street lamp at the school's edge. I burst through the broken fence and collapsed in the parking lot, retching on asphalt. Silence. Not just around me, but inside me. Like it had stopped chasing. I laid there staring up at the stars, half choking on dirt and exhaustion, wondering if it was possible to cry and laugh and not feel either. And slowly, I realized it let me go. That night, I moved schools, deleted my socials, changed my number, transferred to a new district 2 towns over, where no one had heard of Eastridge, or the woods, or that cursed path behind the science wing. My parents still don't know the full story, just that I had some kind of breakdown. They tiptoe around it like it's mold in the walls. Better to ignore than ask. For a while, it worked. No shadows. No glass distortions. No 3:13 a.m. whispers taught until the mirror. It was in the school bathroom, 3 days into the new semester. I was washing my hands, zoning out like everyone else does, until I saw something in my reflection that wasn't part of me. Same clothes, same face, but my reflection blinked when I didn't. I haven't used that bathroom since. It's subtle now, quieter, but I'll catch its shape sometimes in the gaps between headlight shadows on the wall. In the stutter of the TV screen when I pause Netflix. Once, I swear it spelled something in the condensation on the bathroom mirror. I wiped it before reading the last word. Now I kind of regret that the locket hasn't come back yet, but I've started double-checking my pockets every day, just in case. And yeah, I know this whole story sounds insane. Like some overworked teenager with too much caffeine and not enough therapy decided to LARP a Reddit post. Maybe that's exactly what it would have been, if I'd never climbed through the fence. But I did, and now I need to know. Have you seen it? I'm asking seriously. Have you ever seen a graveyard behind your school, Cam? Not in the public records, Dick. not marked on any map, just quietly waiting, between the trees, with stones that shift when you're not looking. B, because I can't be the only one. If this place is Reland at this point, I'd stake everything on that. Then it's out there in other towns, other counties, maybe waiting for the curious, maybe calling to them. So leave a comment, send a message, post a video, just something, anything, because I think the locket was just one of many. And I think there are other paths, other stories, other names, and I don't know who needs to hear this. But if you ever find a forgotten trail behind your school and follow it through the brush into a field of gravestones that have no names, don't touch anything. Don't take anything. Don't look too long at the freshly dug ones. And if you've already made that mistake, well, join the club. Soft vibration sound cue. Phone buzzing, notification plays in distorted voice recording. We're not done yet.